So I've finally made it up here to Alaska, and in today's video, I'm gonna go over a few composition tips for landscape photography. Now, I actually drove to Alaska. I took the Alaskan Highway, which starts in Dawson's Creek in British Columbia. That's because when I left Yellowstone in the winter, I went to Utah for 3 weeks, and then from Utah drove all the way up here to Alaska. So I went about 4,200 miles so far, and I still have a ways to go before Anchorage, and then ultimately my destination, Denali State Park, where I'll be in the summer. Now, the Alaska Highway is amazing. It has some spectacular mountain views, and it just goes through miles and miles of untouched wilderness with endless pine forests, snow everywhere. It was a pretty amazing drive. Now, I didn't do that much photography on the drive just because it was in the spring when I went up here, and there's still a lot of snow. As you can see behind me, there's still a couple feet of snow in certain places, and it's really snowing right now. It's about 25 degrees Fahrenheit. So I didn't do that much photography because a lot of the pull-outs and parks along the drive were inaccessible due to the snow, which is unfortunate, but it was still nice to be able to witness the drive, and I did get a couple decent snapshots, so that was good. But there was really nowhere to stay kind of close to nice compositions along the way. Now I'm finally getting my camera out, making a video, and taking a shot. Now, one composition tip is to just make sure you know what you're photographing. Like right over this hill here, I have a beautiful scene, and what I want to photograph is kind of the river that's broken up. Some of it's frozen, some of it's not, as well as the mountains in the background. Now, actually, I was here earlier and scouted out this location and really liked this composition, so I came back now. But of course, now we have all these clouds covering the peak of the mountain, which I want to shoot tonight, which is a bit unfortunate. But that's all right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just kind of walk down there and get closer to the river. I'm gonna kind of work my way around too, so my footsteps don't get in the scene. I guess that could be another tip. When you're photographing in sand or snow, be careful where you walk because you don't want your footprints in the scene that you're gonna photograph because it'll kind of ruin it in a way. So there's actually already some footprints here that I've been following. I believe they're moose, just because I found some scat here. I've actually seen some moose in the area, and there was some dark brown fur kind of back there. So it's what I can assume. It's either that or a caribou. So these tracks are already in my scene, which I don't mind because they are animal tracks, so it adds to the element of kind of the wild wilderness out here. So I'm just kind of using them to mask my own human tracks because they're real deep and real big. But the snow, as you can see, is also very deep. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time walking through here. All right, so I've come down here to this pool. And another tip for compositions will be find water. Water can add so much interest to an image. You can do a long exposure, smooth it out. It can add reflections. You can get waves or a little bit of waterfalls. So I always found that looking for water really can help a composition. Like right now we have some nice color and light in the sky, and this water is reflecting that. And I don't think it's gonna last too long, so I am gonna set up kind of fast and then take an image here. So the light is ever changing, so I'm trying to get a composition pretty quick. And I'm not sure if I like vertical or horizontal because we do have this real nice water pool in the foreground. And it is reflecting some of this nice light. Unfortunately, I do not have the mountain peak, which is a little bit discerning, but not too bad. So I'm trying to take a shot here, and it seems my autofocus just took a crap. Now another compositional tip will be mindful of the edges. Now you can see here on the edges of my composition, I'm trying to cut out the trees on the left for some, then I'll include it on the other. And how I have this partial tree to the left, I'm going to completely cut it out since I can't include it because I don't want just half of a tree in there. I either want the whole thing or nothing. Oh, and we're starting to get that peak out, so I'm going to take some images here. Real simple, no filters or anything, just because we do have the dark trees in the horizon, and if I use a graduated filter, it'll darken those trees even more, which I don't want. So real simple shot, 1/13 of a second, f11, ISO 64. I think it's looking all right. And my lens, the autofocus, actually just kind of stopped working. I'm not too sure what's going on there. Maybe the focus motor in one of it or something is not quite working. But yeah, it's not finding focus. So I'm having to manually focus now. Which luckily the camera here has focus peaking, so it's not that big of a deal. All right, now I'm going to try a horizontal composition. Now you can see what I mean about watching the edges even more on this horizontal shot. Because if I zoom all the way out, I have this tree to the left in my scene, which I don't want because I can't have the whole thing because it's already cutting off some of it. So I just want to frame it just right. So I'm cutting off that tree on the far left. Now in this video, the trees on the left are going to be cut off just because I'm shooting in 4K for the video. So it's cropping it kind of weird. But in the actual image, the tops of those trees will be visible. So yep, I'll just take another picture here. All right, 1/8 of a second, f11, ISO 64. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to where I started, kind of on that ledge before I came down in this valley here, because there's another composition up there where I can get both of these rivers in the shot. And it's getting close to sunset. Still got about a half an hour. It's pretty cloudy, so I don't know if the light's going to do anything. But that peak did come out, so I'm going to go back up there and do some shooting. And another tip that kind of goes along with removing distractions from your frame would be watch for man-made items. Now, right to the right here, I've got this pole marker marking this storm drain, and that could be really unpleasing if it was in my image, because I just want a landscape image, nothing with something created by humans in it. So if I mistakenly put that in there, I could remove it in post, but I'd just much rather remove it while I'm shooting, because to me it just seems like a more real image. Now the mountain peak is pretty much gone behind the clouds again. So unfortunately, it's not that dramatic of an image anymore, and we're losing a lot of light, which sunset isn't until 8:46, which is like 20 minutes away, but it's still getting pretty dark. I think just because all the mountains blocking the sun and because it's so cloudy. So that's all for today's video. I ended up coming away with a couple of shots I'm pretty happy with. My first few shots of Alaska. Not the best images just because the light wasn't cooperating with me all that well, but still some pretty nice snowy images. So I hope you enjoyed the video and got some useful tips on helping you with your compositions with landscape photography. So now I'm gonna head back to where I'm staying, kind of get warm and bundle up, and see what tomorrow brings. Stay tuned for more videos. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.